Chase and Shep, where Mondays are for the mind. We're live on every outlet at 6 p.m. Central Time. So hit the follow to the channel, make sure that you're notified, so you can join us every Monday. Chase and Shep is now live.
Chase and Shep, Mondays for the mind. Grow with us as we sit down with new guests all March long.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I hope everybody took that intro in one last time, because it's changing up next week.
It's true. It's true.
Always love to see what clips you're gonna dig out.
I'll have to figure that out. I have not had any. I have not started on it at all. So.
Oh wow, sounds like you got some work to do this week.
I do. That ain't a bad thing, having some work to do.
But until then, I guess we should bring on our guests here. We got Solo DaPoet with his friend Avion. How y'all doing today?
Yo, what's up? What up, Chase? What up, Shep, man? How y'all feeling?
Good, man. Oh,
Hey,
you know,
good.
good for it being a Monday. Surprisingly,
Yes,
so.
honestly, it's actually the sun came out. You know what I'm saying? Just positive energy, just flowing through. Just
Exactly.
Good for it. I second that.
Shep, what do you have on your hoodie? Are we all? What are you? Because it seems like we're repping the anime over here.
Got the little Koski going on. You know what I'm saying?
What are we?
on.
The Freddy Krueger. Okay.
Freddy Krueger.
Hey, speaking of Freddy Krueger, man. Hey, Pesci dropping that. He dropping that.
Yeah, he is. He is, man. I see him hyping it up on Facebook and stuff, and I'm getting excited because, you know, I got to hear a few of them songs back when G was around, you know, he was recording them and whatnot. So I'm sitting back like, I ain't got to listen to those in a minute, man. I'm ready to.
With this one, he took his time. I'm on there. I'm on there.
Oh, yeah, man. Oh, yeah. You guys got some fire on there.
You're gonna know me when you hear me.
Oh, yeah. You guys really do got some fire on there. I think you guys have played some of the songs live already, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I thought, man, because yeah, those ones definitely are some high energy tracks and just that smooth shit, man. I loved it.
Yeah. It's my boy right here. Oh, yeah, this is my boy Map Guy, man. Go ahead. So this is another member of the High C crew. I wanted to bring him on board and stuff to kind of give you guys a little sense of, they got a brother podcast and they're making it things. There's gonna be a lot more coming on between you guys and stuff. So I definitely wanted to introduce my right hand man. Avion, I go by Map or Map God, either or. All three of you love, no matter. I can accept anything. But yeah, I'm just more so the spiritual one of the group. I like to think positive and have a bunch of optimism in my body and in my mind. That's all I care about, and I just want everybody to elevate, produce, and be something, you know, because this year I said I'm gonna take every sign I see coming my way, and then he came out of nowhere after a basketball. He was like, I'm trying to have something going on, something called High C. I'm just like, it was like a light bulb, you know, ding. Like, oh,
right.
It's that sign. And ever since, I just feel like I'm turning my dreams into fruition, you know? Just trying to get him to engage in hummus, but it's just not sticking with him. Sorry. The red pepper hummus he wants me to get. I'm gonna get it.
Hey, I just got on that train myself not too long ago. I fucked that shit up.
I can't get on board with the hummus. I used to Chase, when I first met you, we used to sling the hummus hard over in the deli.
It used to sling the hummus.
Yeah, but I just never. I've tried it a time or two. It just hasn't been my thing. I know G, back when I was recording weekly with him, that was like the session of like recording had hummus and chips and all this, you know, little pitas and stuff. But I was like, bro, I just can't do it.
Yeah, most definitely.
You know what you were just saying about watching out for the signs and just kind of going with it and everything. There's a lot to that for sure, because I know a few years back, it's kind of how I came to meet Solo, was, you know, those days where we were all at G's doing our thing. I got to meet all these artists recording there. Shep and I had just kind of recently started doing our Chase and Shep thing. And how I came to get involved with that was just the series of coincidences, just these kids that pop up, and you're just like,
a whole bunch of times.
and you never know, like it's one of those things. Like even you, Solo, like meeting you back at G's, like I always thought you were a talented guy and everything like that, but I wouldn't be able to foretell how we would work together in the future. You know what I mean? Like, but I had a feeling it's like he's going to come back into the fold somehow. I didn't know how, but now I see it because you just got cast in my new short film coming out.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
we just had Trudy Namara on the show a few weeks ago, who's playing Susie in this short film. And I just read the script again before doing this. I was reading that like back half, that back chunk we got to do. I'm very excited to be doing that with you because I know that you were telling me that you were ready to start growing as an actor and stuff, and I feel a lot of the same way because no offense to you, Shep, but we do a lot of the same shtick, over and over again of the Chase and Shep characters, so we don't go much outside of that, and so I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I was reading some of the things I had to do, and I'm like, man, I got to take myself to a place for this, and so that's going to be a fun experience. Especially, we were filming yesterday with our Camp Nostalgic friends, and it's like anytime we're on a Chase and Shep set or a Camp Nostalgic set, like we're all just having so much fun, like no matter what we're shooting. I was reading the script today, I'm like, this is going to be such a different vibe, like all the same people on set where we are so used to being goofy and having a fun time, but the subject matter is just so dark and serious, and I'm so curious to see what this experience is going to be like for all of us because we're so used to doing like goofier shit.
That's gonna be real illuminating. It's like I don't want to give any spoilers. I don't even think I told you guys what it's about, but it's like just so you know, I've just been like watching a hella ton of you on Netflix.
That's a good one to watch.
I've been focusing on Joe, but I've also been focusing on the environmental things and stuff like things that you have to pick up on because they purposely don't show you that. They leave it up to the wind, but then it's like you'll see a normal person just talking casually, and then soon it's like it kind of really shows like something that I say a lot, where I say people are only like most times they really hate when they only accept the truth as long as it's within their comfortability. So if you're receiving a truth or you're being told, like you're a certain religious type and you're being told a truth outside of your religion thing, even whether it's true or not, if it's outside of what you strongly believe in, you're not going to take it well. You might just get upset or aggressive towards that type of thing. So it's like when he's put in a position where all of these excuses are out the window, we clearly see what you are. You see a face that goes from a normal man to an estranged, psychopathic type of person, and it can turn on quick. It's like having to see the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in a person. It's like you really have to see it, but that's where I've been. I've been studying that type of thing. I've mostly been looking for like psychological thrillers and things.
Oh yeah, you should watch True Detective. I'll put you on that. True Detective is.
True Detective.
That's with them puppies.
No,
that's with them puppies. That is on Nick Jr.
What?
The puppies.
Paw Patrol? Are you talking about Paw Patrol?
It's not that.
No,
it's not that.
No.
You just said, okay,
I'm gonna show you True Detective. If you want some psychological shit, I'm gonna show you True Detective. Okay? Put you on.
It's true. That's a great.
Like, there's 3 seasons, but all 3 stories are different.
Oh, so it's like
nothing more, nothing less. You would just have to see.
There ain't no dogs in it.
I'm not gonna say
no. All right.
Could be there, could not be, man.
All right.
I'm gonna just keep you hyped for it.
I'm gonna check it out. Check it out. I need stuff to binge. I almost started Game of Thrones over it, and that was a rough time for me.
So what's I don't think you've talked much about the high C thing. You kind of mentioned it to me when we talked before, but tell the people what this high C empire is you're building.
Okay, well, we're basically, when I thought of how my music career was going, it was like I didn't know. I had no answers or anything. Basically, I was going through what he was going through around the age that he is now. I was just paying attention to signs. I was like, what am I going to do? I want to do music for real now. I finally decided to do it for real, but I don't know what to do. So that led into seeing a flyer for battle rap. I'm like, this is obviously a sign because it's taped to a tree. So
A literal sign.
So
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna try it out. That was the first day I met Mage and everything. That worked, but it was like afterwards, I get a song done, then think, what am I supposed to do after this? Right. I know that something was telling me networking, connecting, getting the song heard and things like that, but it was how? How do you do that when sometimes all you know how to do is rap? So it's like, what did you do after that? Where do you go for help? Because help don't come cheap nowadays. So I was thinking of, from my standpoint, what I wasn't given or what I didn't have access to, I want to create that access and be able to give it. So that's why I went for high C, because it was a playoff. It was a playoff of like the juice, the beverage. So it's like, you know what I'm saying, sometimes the conversations get juicy and things like that. It was also based off that I smoke a lot. And I want people to see that. It also went for like height. Like I remember, like I feel like if I got famous, my path would be like with my friends, but on like a more cleaner version of Odd Future, where it's like you're just pranking each other, joking around, and all these things. And I remember they used to call when they were acting excited stuff like hyphy. I think I might be butchering it, but I think it's hyphy. But they would just chill and everything like that. So I was like, that's like us. We're like hype. We gotta have good energy. So hype, we bring positive vibes. We create a platform where if there's an artist somewhere around town or somewhere out of there who I just recorded this song, I want to interview. I don't really know anyone I can get an interview from. If we build it up our platform and we got up to 10,000 subscribers and we average 5,000 views, well, hey, we got somewhere where as long as you get interviewed here, we got 5,000 people that's going to check you out. We got 5,000 people that interact, 5,000 people that support, and it just moves up more and more the more we progress and we have more to offer. And then thinking of how that has to represent the people inside the crew as well. So I try to make sure that everyone inside the crew understands that this is a place where you can be different, be the alternative, be wherever you want to be, because at the end of the day, you're just accepted. As long as you come, you want to have a good time. Everybody around here wants to have a good time. We're going to bring that vibe to you, share that vibe with us, and just feel welcome. Because there's some people that listen to rap, but then might listen to some Demi Lovato. There might be some people who listen to theater, musicals, but then they also listen to certain hip hop artists, just not the mainstream, maybe underground. And so when people are watching these other podcasts and seeing them talk about these mainstream artists and stuff, and they don't really seem like they fit in because I'm not really with the swaggy or I'm not really in people's business with the hot news. Where can I find a podcast that makes me feel like, yeah, I have all this different combination to me, but at the end of the day, sooner or later, something that relates to me on at a high frequency, where can I feel connected? Where can I connect with? And that's where I want us to be. So it went from hype culture, so it's hype culture, hype community, hype conversations, and then it's also the high C stands for help your culture, because we're here to help you. So obviously, helping yourself comes with helping your culture. If we're going to create a bigger platform for you guys and want you guys to expand, then all you have to do is just support. Because once we get to that point, it'll pretty much just like Robin Hood. Once we get a hold of the algorithms and everything, we'll just be here to give back.
Yeah.
And I just found some like-minded folks that agree with it and stuff, but at the same time, I offer the same things to them. We all come together when we're going through troubles, struggles, anything, and we all are the backbone for each other. And then we just want to make sure that we emit that 100% organic. We don't want to speak anything or talk about anything that we wouldn't or do not do ourselves. But everybody in our circle has different point of views. Really, like we clash all the time, but that helps with great content and great discussions. And we're slowly learning how to handle the group mindsets and things, we're all becoming leaders in our own right. Because once this expands to that, to the higher standpoints, if he decided he wanted to go do something on his own, they decided they want to go do something on their own, that's 100% the point. It's the point to build up a platform that when you want to go into your own endeavors, you have something that's going to help promote it so that you're not starting from scratch.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we feel that. Yeah. But this is what, year 3 for us doing the Chase and Shep thing. And I mean, the best advice I can give you guys is just keep at it, man. That's all you can do, is just keep on going, you know. That's all there is to it, you know. Like I said, year 3 over here.
We're trying to reach for the top. So it's like there's so many things that I study when it comes to this format. I study algorithms like all day. I just study. I watch what's hot, trending. I watch what people do to bypass. But then sometimes I watch quantity over quality. Sometimes I watch quality over quantity. And I'm here to give both. That's the missing piece, is trying to fill every gap. It's hard to do. There's always going to be critics. There's always going to be what somebody's saying what you don't have. But sometimes that comes with being undeniable. Is that you're easily denied.
Well, it's about just looking around for things. I think the last 420 video we did was at a time that YouTube was looking at, within their algorithms, they were wanting to push videos that were longer than 30 minutes long to get people stayed on there, seeing more ads and whatnot. And our video was like 34, 35 minutes long. So we saw, like, over the course of a day, like almost like 1,000 view bump in it, just out of nowhere. And it's like, just like knowing that kind of stuff. And like, we've always had that same mindset. If we have stuff that looks really good, we have just these streams where we're all just sitting around talking or doing whatever, no matter what that algorithm's going to do. If it wants to pick up an hour-long show, well, we've got years worth of stuff, that's on there.
Yeah.
So
trying to build up content, trying to build up so much content and have a scheduled release time.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, it's crazy how much, like, in the moment you feel like there's so much shit you got to do, and you might stress about it in the moment, but then, like, as time goes on, you realize that you've already done it. Like, while you're stressing about it, you've achieved it already. Because, like, in year 3 for us, like, when it comes to, like, marketing, because it's just the two of us, we've got people who help us on our, like, scripted videos and stuff like that. We have our guests and shit, but, like, behind the scenes, it's just Shep and I doing everything.
Yeah, that's why I was telling that to him. I was like, just as soon as we jumped in, I was like, look at the background, look at everything that they have already set up. I was like, this is what I'll be telling them when I work.
And it's just little things. Yeah.
It's like super impressive
to just build up on. Yeah. And now, like, we worried about marketing, in the earlier days. We're like, what the fuck are we got to come up with ways to, like, market ourselves. Well, now here we are, 3 years deep into it, and we have so much content that, Shep was saying the other day, like, every day we could just post, hey, like, a year or two ago today, we did this, like, we did that. And now we just have shit to post all the time, because all we did was what we were doing, for the past few years. And it's like, it just kind of worked out itself,
Most definitely. I definitely can dig it.
Yeah, it's that spirituality thing, man. For me too, because I had that moment in life where, like, I started going with the signs and stuff, and like I said, that's around the time I ended up at Grant's place and all that stuff, and even that stuff, like, that was all so exciting at Grant's. Like, we really thought we had the start of something big, and, like, all this shit was gonna pop off, and a lot of that didn't work. Yeah. And at the end of the day, a lot of it didn't come to fruition. But that's okay, because through all of those moments, through all of those things, it was all still what we needed. Like, it all still happened for a reason, and it all fell apart for a reason. Like, all these things happen for a reason to get you where you're going. And that was definitely one of them, for sure. I mean, we did so much video work in that time that, like, we learned so much. So it's like, you can't walk away being like, well, that was a failure.
No, it was the knowledge. I would never say it fell apart, because I think what it did was just, it took everybody and catapulted us all into what we're doing now. You know what I'm saying? A lot of that was, G going out to LA, you know, getting the opportunity to go out to LA, you know, that's what got a lot of us like, ooh, you know, and off kind of now just more focused on the stuff that we were like building through all that. Um,
Yeah, fall apart probably wasn't the best way to put it, but
I mean,
we all had
I
this like
feel you.
grand, ambitious, like umbrella idea that
Right.
that's what didn't work out, you know. But like that ambition, man. We talk about it a lot. Where like you know, Chase and Shep is built on ambition. We're
Oh,
still
we
the
did a,
two most
yeah.
ambitious motherfuckers we know. Like when it comes to our art and
Oh, I
stuff,
feel you. We
you
did a
know, we
lot
just
back
go
then.
for it.
Yeah,
I
like
feel like every week I showed up.
one thing I
on
noticed
a,
that I try to like that it's like one of the key things that I'm trying to work with my group is like, did this come like with years of like working together? Because it seems like you guys are like very good in sync with feeding off of each other when it comes to handling the back and forth conversations. There's a mixture of insight during each other speaking and things, but then there's also like I see that there's a lot of floor giving, but it seems like you're very much in sync. Like so, this is like from years of just like working with each other. Cause I know
Oh
when we get to talking, when we get going, it just be everywhere. We
yeah,
got to figure out who to throw the microphone to.
it can get everywhere. I
it
feel like
can. It definitely can.
there's times where we will, but yeah, if you go back, like when we first started, it was basically you know,
In my
during the
living
pandemic.
room.
Yeah, it was during the pandemic, and I had this idea one night, you know, I was sitting around smoking, doing my thing, and I was watching this probably just god awful terrible, I thought at the time, Christmas horror movie. And I was like, you know, I'm bored. I want to review Christmas horror movies. I want to make it a thing. So I started like searching on YouTube, and I had this like, you know, idea in my head. I calling it 25 Slays of Christmas. So I searched it up, and there was nothing on YouTube at all for that. So I'm like, right, there's a title that if anybody ever searches from here on out, that would be the only videos that pop up. No one else has done that yet. And then I tried to do one, and it was just, I thought I was very cringe as fuck because I'd never done that, you know, filming yourself by yourself in your room.
That cringy feeling of seeing yourself on camera.
Yeah, and
I
I was just like, I'm awkward by myself. So then I hit Chase up because I, you know, he was we was already talking and whatnot at that time, but you know, I knew he was somebody that wanted something to do, but didn't have anything at the moment to do. But he just had that same feeling of I want to create something though. So I hit him up one day and I just basically was like, hey, I tried to do this. It was very cringe. I feel like if I did this with somebody else, it wouldn't be as bad. And if you would be interested, and he's like, yeah, that sounds dope to me. We can film them here and stuff. And I'd like to say when we first started, we were terrible together.
I don't know if
It-
we were terrible. I'll never
not
forget
terrible.
one day we were over at Grant's and he said something and the two of us responded like at the same time. And Grant was like, "That was cute." And I'm like, "Thanks. We have a podcast together." Like it's just one of those things where even in real life, like you know, even in the way we deal with things like behind the scenes, like you know, we would watch like some of our other collaborators work a certain way, and when it came to like you know something coming up watching how they deal with it. Meanwhile, Shep and I were like, "Oh shit, dude, we got to do the show tonight," but that I had a thing come up, and we're like, "Oh fuck it, we'll just do it another time." You know, it was all very easy going, and it's like you know we only met in 2019, which is, I mean, I guess that's been a minute now at this point, but like ever since that first moment we met, it was like we've known each other forever. Like we have always given that vibe off to people. You know, the fact that we both have our own separate best friends, but everybody thinks that like we're like lifelong homies, you know.
It's true.
It's like good thing we got a show, you know. Sometimes you just kind of have that repertoire with somebody, but like he was saying, there's that you know after you've done it for a while, you do kind of know what to look out for, and like you know,
yeah, I
you know
definitely.
what though, I thought the same thing, Tyler, earlier.
High C's get
C's.
degrees.
High C's get degrees. Tough crowd.
I mean, if you were
I
getting
don't
high
know.
C's,
I graduated with like straight D's, so
that's what I was gonna say. I
So
feel
it's
like if
all
you got high
bullshit. These get
C's,
degrees.
well, I
yeah.
feel like you'd get
Right.
degrees with C's.
Got my degree.
Maybe the C's get degrees was like just to get a C out of their kids. You know, it's like the D's will get degrees, but if you could just get a C, that'd be great. So they're just like fuck it.
maybe it was a temperature joke.
Right, Celsius.
Yeah, Celsius.
Deeper than we ever thought.
Yeah, that's that stuff you put on your foot. Celsius, so Jim.
But yeah, that's what we did. I mean, we just kind of did it for a while, and that's how we got here. We still stumble over each other sometimes, though, and we still don't know which fucking direction to point when we point because it's all flipped.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't even bother with it, man. I done had moments where I was eating some chips and dipping it in cheese, and then I done got confused and dipped my hand in the cheese and reached for some chips. I done had moments with this, man. But I think how did we end up? Because we known each other for a couple of years now. I think way back. And but it was like separate circles in different age groups of friends and things. Like I know him when like he was still in high school. I think one time
I was going into high school. Yeah.
Pretty much,
So pretty much, he was at the court just playing basketball with his friends. I'm like, one of my guys. I'm like, hey, some people up there. We finna go hoop. Let's have some fun, competition. It should be cool. And then I just looked at him. I'm like, you look like you up to something. And then they was like, you better watch out. That's the backboard king. I'm like, what the hell's the backboard king? Like, who is he? Pointing like,
money. Bank open on a Sunday.
Then they put me to guard him, and he, pretty much just banked everything. And I'm just like, all right, I got something for that. And he remembered too, because I came back like what, 2 weeks later?
Two weeks later, 8 inches taller. Just grew. He grew so fast, and that man, they was just too big. He go crazy on the court now, most definitely. Yeah, but it was just like random times just seeing him, and then I guess it's like how they say like how guys kind of become friends. You just walk past a person enough times, and first just walk past, then it's hey, what's up? Then it's hey, what you up to? Then you go to kicking sometimes, and it's just he always had a good spirit about him. He always had a smile. He was always chilling. It was like if I ever gave him advice on anything, he was just open to the advice. You know what I'm saying? He really like worked on like his whole entire basketball game, stuff like that, like based off some of the advice I gave him. He really go crazy.
I take advice like strong.
Yeah, like, he plays like me if I was taller.
Hell yeah.
That's what's
I
up.
was taller, man.
I was always just horrible at basketball because I just had no sort of hand-eye coordination. So all sorts of sports, I always tried, and I sucked.
Yeah.
I'm the injury prone of the group, so
Man,
something always.
what just happened? Well, we both got injured on the same day. What was this last week?
Yes,
Right.
Wednesday.
Right.
Last
We were
Wednesday.
both playing basketball.
He crazy. I stopped when I needed to.
You gotta put in pain for the team if you want to win.
Mm-hmm.
It's playoff time. I ain't played basketball in months, so that's my excuse. I ain't played in months. We had just worked out. My ankles were lazy.
Before he got on, I'm like, be careful. Be careful.
Jinx, right? He didn't say break a leg.
Oh, right. Yeah.
No break a leg or nothing. That's basically what he did.
And then before he got injured, I bumped knees with somebody, and then like when I bumped knees, it just hit like a previous injury where my knot went down, so like it hit that same spot, so my leg just locked up.
We on two different sides of the court playing. I rolled my ankle, and so he was before I had rolled it the first time. He was like, "Hey, you good? You want to play?" I was like, "I'm good. I got it. This ain't been the first time for me." So he goes to the other court and play. I see him go to the ground. And then I rolled my ankle again. So I told my team, I said, I gotta play because he was supposed to be my sub and he just
sat out.
I was like, I can't throw him in because he on the ground rolling right now. So then I roll it the third time. It went crackle pop. I was like,
Did y'all win?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Don't you? I won. I won us the game. I came back.
I wasn't thinking about it. I was,
said, give me the ball.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm just a cameraman, non-athlete that can do some shit.
I was in like fetal position.
So is that mostly what you do? You do like camera stuff?
Yeah, that's my tech guy.
I be handling like the quality and all that, making sure the picture and everything is just clear enough for everybody to see everything. You know, like I don't focus on the center. Sometimes I focus on everything, so everybody can just see what we got.
Yeah, he set this up. He got the light and everything for us and stuff. But we both, I try to make sure that anything that he learns, that everybody in the group takes time to learn, to cross train, because then it just opens up everybody's resume. And at the same time, it takes a lot of the work off of him. So it's like everybody's doing a little bit of something. So if there's times where we're having a guest or things, we only got about, let's say maybe me, two co-hosts, and then the 2 guests or something like that. We got people that know how to monitor behind the camera, keep track of things, the tech and all that. I need to make sure that everybody can be the crowd leader, Sandman, and Freddie.
I feel that.
And what's crazy is like he already knows what to do with the stuff, and then for me, I just self-taught myself what to do. And so like when we came together,
David, appreciate that. That's all I him. It was his idea.
So when we came together, he was trying to tell me on how to like work some angles and all that. I was like, oh, you mean this? And I like fix it, but like it'll look like times 10 better. And he'd be like, yeah, just like that. How you do that? And I'm like,
I try to put crazy amounts of energy. I'm like a sloth that drank like a lot of iced coffee.
Slow king.
Yeah, like a slow king. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
I feel that.
I'd be like sitting there like this, and then as soon as I know something, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking. Yeah, like yes, I'm unfazed, but that doesn't mean I'm not amazed. But little things make me happy. Like when I was teaching him about the rule of the third and different camera things, and he caught on to it. He was like, "How about that?" And I was like, "Ooh, that is nasty. That's a nasty camera." I said it before we did this. When he set up the camera angle, I said, "That is nasty. That's so nasty." But me building up the love, or to expand outside of just music and going to these different forms of art. The camera work and everything came from me pushing some pointers onto him and seeing him actually do the stuff, because him doing it, I'm right there with him doing it. So it's like actually to give myself hands-on experience as well. I just do a lot of research, and then I'm good at simplifying things. So after I go through all the hard parts of trying to figure out all these big words or all these big things they're saying with all the video editing softwares and things, after I do it and I can like, okay, so that's how you do it. Now I can bring it to you guys. That's how you do it.
He's been amazing. I agree. You said something else earlier that I'm like, I need to fucking write that down too. I'm very etch that in my tombstone.
I'm very good with quotables. I think shout out to Young Club, but he calls himself I think was the Tin Man. He had an album, The Infatuation of the Tin Man. Gold. Yeah, it's gold. Yeah. But me and him were talking. I was like, I should do an album kind of based off of that. And he was like, who would you be? And I was like, you already know. I would be the Scarecrow. It's like I would be the Scarecrow from The Wiz, because he always had like, he would pull a piece of paper out of his head and then he would read off a quotable, and it just seemed to match that moment. I'm like, that's who I am. I just say witty things.
You definitely do be doing that. Okay. I like that reference. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's what's up. But no, it's really big and important. I think, like, you know, one thing that me and him have always done great working together with is having that trust between like the team, to where, you know, I've had ideas with Chase where I'm like, yo, this is how I think this should go, and he's like, no, I don't think that's gonna work. You know, I don't know if that's gonna work. And it's like, just trust me. Like,
yeah.
Once you do it, once you put it together, I guarantee you, it'll be funny. It'll look good. It's going to do this. And, 9 times out of 10, it works out. Sometimes it doesn't, but
we literally, you don't know this, but we literally just had a moment like this because I was sitting here today editing some shit, and I gave you some credit to myself here that the thing about like opening our new short, like right where the credits end with like the sitting down. And I know, a lot of the time, like when we write this stuff, like we'll pass ideas back and forth, but I'm the one sitting over here with it most of the time, just like kind of going with it in my head. So I have certain shit in my head. And that's, I've had to learn to not be attached to certain ideas because, we are a collaboration. And so I have to be open to, okay, well, maybe this might be better. And so like the other day when we are like, well, what if we started this like sitting down? I'm like, oh well, I don't know, man. I've been thinking about this for weeks, and in my head it looks like this, where we come in and we're already sitting down. But then when I cut it together with the music and everything, it looks fucking amazing. Sitting down, like it adds something to it that wouldn't have been there if we just started the scene with us already sitting down. Like there is this just like slight elevation of the material, because yeah, you got to be open to stuff like that. And with teaching everybody everything, I think that's important too. Even if everybody doesn't learn every single thing that everybody knows, like just to have a general, like when we did um summer camp of horrors, not the summer camp of festivals. um when we did that, we would switch the camera on and off, with each other, because we're both in the show. And then our friend Easy, Easy as well, he was our third man on the camera. And then sometimes it was just any of the actors. We'd just be like, here, take the fucking camera and do this. But Shep in particular was always good. Like I feel like he learned very quick, and like there are times where I couldn't tell my own stuff from Shep's stuff, because like we both just got on the same page, like filming wise. There's some shots in summer camp that I'm jealous of, because I'm like, I know I didn't shoot this because I'm in this fucking scene. So I was like, this looks amazing. Shep just started busting shit out. So it's good for everybody to know, and we all need to learn how to do sound now. That's our big thing.
Yeah,
Here you go, Shep.
Go Shep. Well, I feel like the group more so pushes me to be a leader, because I see us as a ring full of leaders. I'm trying to turn everybody into a leader, so I don't really like to take too much control of things. Whereas, so it's like if somebody has an idea or anything, I don't necessarily shoot it down. I more so find a way to revamp it to make it fit into a thing. So if someone said anything like, "Oh, we're gonna," like, remember they were last time we were talking about what topics we were gonna talk about, and someone had named a recent news thing that had happened, but I figured because of the lack of information that was only behind it, that we couldn't just do that because it would be a short segment. So I revamped it to, hey, let's see if we can attach a couple other recent things that's going also with his, and see if we can morph that into a full segment, which we ended up being able to do. So I don't really, the only time I shoot down an idea is if it goes against what we're about.
Oh, yeah.
Like I don't believe in any idea that takes advantage of someone. I believe in just doing things just to, we gotta have some sense of morality and some sense of like a night,
lifting everybody up.
Yeah, uplifting type thing. So that's why I tell them sooner or later, like volunteer work is going to be done. We're going to help out with things outside of just trying to get a platform and things. Like we have to represent what we're about. We're here to help. We'll be able to throw charity events when we make things happen, but we're also building up pools for our own. We're planning so many charity events. We got so many ideas going that it's just formatting it and laying it out throughout the year. But we do a lot of groundwork and things, but no, I don't shut down any ideas. I more so ask them to bring more ideas to me. You're saying bring more, expand your horizon, expand what you think about, or if this is to also help me form a brotherhood. So I can understand more about you if you take the time to, what do I like? And come to just let me see what you like. Just dig deeply into what do you like and bring it up. If you like these type of movies, bring these type of movies around. I will check out these type of movies, so I haven't checked these type of movies out. We literally have a weekly thing where people, I think anime, we all be like, okay, it's his turn this week, it's his turn the next week. He picks the anime of the week. Everybody, we have to watch at least 1 or 2 episodes to get a grasp of it, think in depth. Everybody needs to have an opinion on things. So we just circulate like that. Like, and it helps me also understand, okay, this is what you picked. Why did you pick it? And it helps me like, okay, so it helps the fans attach to you. You like this because of the art style. You like it because of the music soundtrack. Oh, I also like that music soundtrack. I also like that art style. So now they cling to him. So now he's building his own personal fan base. So now people cling to, oh, I like chocolate milk. Now they clinging to me. You feel me?
Yeah.
Or Rashad, I like money. oh, I like money too. So now he's building his own fan base. And I want to make sure that as we expand, each person has some sort of personal segment so that they can build their own fan bases. Rashad likes economics. So if you went through an economics section, boom. We have my man Dev, Keith, C Money. They like to delve into sports. We would let them take over the sports. They also wanted to throw in ideas of, let's speak about our thoughts on stuff on FanDuel or go into that. So, hey, this is what we, like you said, like just little small segments. I don't care if they want to do the weather.
Right.
If you want to do the weather and people like the way you want to do weather because you break dance or you rap it or something, you get your own segment. And then but at the end of the day, I'm trying to find a way to make a rich community while having the most fun possible doing it.
Facts. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Earlier, we got a comment that says, you got to at least try something. And, we've done a lot of that here on our show. Like if you went back on our YouTube page to like the beginnings of Chase and Shep, we've talked about it on the show before where like when we transitioned out of 25 Slaves of Christmas and like became Chase and Shep, we had 5, maybe 6 shows. I think it's 5. I think it's 5 shows that we were trying to do in a week. And so we threw a bunch of shit at the wall in that first year. All live, a live show 5 nights a week. And now we do this show live every week. And then work a lot. We started transitioning more to the scripted stuff because the more stuff we tried, the more we were like, okay, this works. Okay, I don't really like this. My heart's not in this. Like you can find it. That our thing is like, if our heart's not in it, then we try to steer clear of it. Like if we're not having a good time, if we're making it into a chore, whatever it is, like if we've backed ourselves into some sort of corner, we have to have that talk of like, okay, we're the bosses. We can do what we want. We don't have to fucking, make ourselves miserable with our work. So
very
definitely feel
true. And even back when we were all chilling back at, I'll call it the Humble House at G's place, the Humble House. When we were all at Humble House, we wanted to do like at one point a television channel basically of content that was going 24/7. That when we were looking in, and I remember pitching. By the way. I remember pitching to those guys being like, well, for a yearly fee, you can get 10 fucking channels. So we could set up channels that were, other artists and let them have a whole ass, 24 hours to put out whatever. So yeah, it's always about trying something. It might not work. It might not be time. You might try something that might not be time. I think we bounced from that idea to doing an Easter short. And then the next thing we were like, let's do a 10-part series on YouTube. Which turned into an 8-part, and we finished it, and then that's like a big accomplishment, I think.
Right.
When you
at the end of the day, that's one of those things where it's like, no matter how shitty somebody thinks Summer Camp of Horrors is, we did that. We did it in a very short amount of time with a 3-man crew, and it's just not something that gets done like that. And so at the end of the day, we knew what we were working with, and it's a big accomplishment for us, and it keeps us going. I told him the other day that sometimes I'll go back and rewatch things we've done before just to motivate me for the next thing, and just kind of to learn from ourselves, but also to be like, this, you did this, like, and look at all the things now to improve upon this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And it's just about growing on from what you did. Because, even that summer camp, we learned tons, like a lot that then we carried over to the next thing we did. And then it's like, let's, show that growth in the next thing we did, that what we learned from the last thing. And then, and then we keep doing that with the next thing. So we never look at it as anything we've done. It's never been like, oh man, we totally failed at doing that. Like when we set up with 5 shows, it's like, oh, we totally failed at doing that. No, like we learned what it's going to take if we wanted to get to that level of doing 5 live shows a week, and how life will need to look for us. Like, well, we need to get paid doing this. So this is literally what we're doing 5 times a week. We're working an hour a day, and that's it.
That's exactly what I've been saying about. I'm like, I want to put us in a position where we're working like 30 minutes a day, and that's just to check up on things and stuff, like keep building. And I wanted to expand, like kind of what you were saying with the TV thing, but kind of like go into just, I switched it from just being like a podcast to being like a whole media type group, so that we could cover so many different things and not be tied down to one avenue. So it's like we were going to do, I think we were going to move into skits, possibly skits, events, challenges. We just did a hot chip challenge. Well, I just did a hot chip challenge because they didn't want to do it. They didn't want to do it.
I made a smart choice.
It was like it was some racial thing going on in the room. I don't know what it was. But it was just like, I don't want to say too much, but I'm not gonna say too less. And everybody of the lighter hue ate the chip. That's honest, and that was only like 2 people. So I
couldn't eat any of those hot ones chips myself, man. That would hurt me for a week.
It's flavorful. It felt like I felt like I ate a thin slice of a tombstone with gunpowder on it. Wow. And it was like everything it touched turned to ash.
These like those packy like hot chips or whatever.
Yeah. Somebody came out of nowhere. Hey, we got this chip. I was like, I ain't scared of nothing. I like spicy. I ate ghost pepper chili before. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do well, but I ate it. I ate the whole bowl.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, they got that show Hot Ones or whatever, where they eat the hot wings and do the interviews and shit.
Yeah.
And they release like the hot wings, like you can get them at Walmart, like the boneless wings or whatever. And I got those and took them to my family to give them a try because I'd already fucking done all that. And my friend, he doesn't have a sense of smell, so he was like putting back like the hottest ones, and even he was like, I should not have done that. But I took him to my family's house, and like one of the hottest ones was laying there in front of my brother-in-law, and he doesn't know what they are. He's just like, oh, wings, dope. And he fucking goes to just dig in, and he pops that whole fucking wing in his mouth, dude. The look on it, he still hasn't forgiven me. And I keep telling him, I'm like, I literally said before you put it in your mouth, don't do that because you're going to regret it. And to this day, he's like, I was sick for the next 24 hours. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, bro.
I was in the pits of the abyss for like 4 days straight. I didn't know what I was going on. I wouldn't know. I should have got like a webcam and just like documented my transformation into like a volcanic zombie or something.
Yeah.
I was like, you hooped. Huh?
Didn't you hoop?
Did I play basketball? That's probably why I did so bad.
He chugged so much milk.
So that day you played, was it?
Bro, I drank some coconut almond milk. Because Devin had took it. I told him, I said, I'm not drinking no milk. I'm gonna drink some water. I'm not drinking no milk because I would throw up if I drink the milk. So this man, Devin, goes and takes my milk. And I said, don't put your mouth on it. He said, I can't make any promises. So I guess what happened was he drank the milk. It didn't make anything better. It actually enticed them to fight harder on their tongue. And the man went outside. Remember he came back in. He was like, yeah, the champ is back. And C Money said when he looked out the window, Devin was running up and down. He was running up and down the street screaming, ah, ah. I just ran my tongue under the sink for like 6 hours.
I was in disbelief the whole time. I was trying to stay on track, but I was like, oh my god.
I feel like I handled it well. Yeah, as well could be. I lasted longer than he lasted, like 30 seconds. I went for like 4 minutes. But that's not saying much. That was heavy.
That's funny. I'll always laugh how it seems like the hot challenges is just something that's always been a thing. Like even when I was a teenager, that was the thing. We had Dave's Insanity Sauce is what it was called, and like the thing is like banned in several places. It'll take like stains off your driveway if you pour it on there, and that was like to be in the crew. We always told people you got to eat some of this sauce, and it was terrible. That was the first time I ever did something like that. And then from that point forward, I'm always like, if I'm at like Buffalo Wild Wings or Wingstop, I'm like, I'll only go about halfway down, and I'm like, yeah, we're getting into the darker shade of yellow there. I'm good. Try to keep it right at the mild.
Yeah, I'm gonna chill out on the super. I'm not gonna test it. I'm not gonna test it anymore. I know it's there. I'm not gonna test it to see if it's there. I'm just scared. I'm not gonna do it. They didn't want to try anything. So I had already advised, like, I'm gonna get the hummus. But then they say things that are just like not even like reasonable things to challenge me to do, like get on an airplane or like go take a cruise. I'm like, but you won't eat a hot chip. you want to go swim around and not know what's underneath us. Because like, I'm not, or fly, and that's self-explanatory.
I feel you. You don't.
I don't play with either one of those things.
The ocean's not as scary as you'd think. I've been on it. It's not as scary as you'd think when you're on. Like, you just don't think about what's below, or there's no land being around you. You just don't think about that. And if you don't, then you're Gucci. You're like, oh, this is kind of fun.
I sat for almost 3 hours. I sat for almost 3 hours and watched the Titanic.
Right.
Dual VHS cassettes. You had to put the other one in.
I remember. You think
I'm finna get?
You gotta go. Then you gotta go down towards Bahamas.
I literally only learned how to swim so that I could get out of water, not to enjoy my time in water. It's just like there was any situation where a tsunami just happened to stretch all the way over here and it was a lot of water. I just crocodiles.
Crocodiles. Be prepared.
Crocodiles, basking sharks, cookie cutters.
We're pretty much good where we're at here because, like, if any,
Solo's over here in Waterworld.
all the stuff I've seen of like water coming in from like tidal waves or anything, it usually always stops before it gets to Illinois. Either way it comes. So we're in a good spot to be like, hey, we survived that nasty tidal wave.
What do you think? We're most likely to get hit with like a snow NATO?
Probably.
Sharknado, maybe.
Yeah, I can see snow NATO.
Hey, look who it is.
Oh,
look at my boy Pesci.
Yeah.
Hey, mom.
YAOP.
I don't tell people a lot of this because he be having me like hostage when we're around each other. So I don't, you know what I'm saying? We drink and stuff. I'm docile. This man Pesci, I remember the first time we were kind of like around each other. I remember we went to the studio together. This is the time I was first scared of him. It's because we were in the studio and Cove decided to have like the dramatic red lights in the dark on and stuff. And Pesci done drank the tequilas and he's sitting up against the wall, standing against the wall like this, and sitting there. And I'm recording a song. And he was like, "Do it again." I was like, "There's something you didn't like?" He said, "I didn't like any of it. Do it again." Hey, shout out Dorian. Also wanted to shout out John Kramer, Cameras and Cannabis. They got a podcast going on as well, man. Most definitely. Yeah. I'm seeing a lot of very well opinionated people starting to circulate and stuff. And I feel like we all should mix together and really just start spreading love. We really could just start our own instead of looking for networking outside of this town, places that's big, New York, LA, and we can create our own source here.
Oh yeah,
we really can.
It just takes that one organized movement, not somebody trying to
Dave that commented earlier, Dave and I have had that exact conversation multiple times. That's why, you'll see a lot of Camp Nostalgic studio stuff and Earth 217 stuff. That's there's a lot of crossover between the two of us. We're pretty much the same crew, but we want to keep our studios separate in that sense of like, you got Warner Brothers, you got Universal sort of thing where, we're multiple studios to give people more opportunities because we still do different stuff, even though there's a lot of crossover there with actors and crew and stuff like that.
Yeah, I try to invite so many different elements, and I'm trying to bring different elements onto the podcast. Like these these Mormons came and was knocking on the door and were trying to like sell me a book and stuff. They weren't selling it. I don't want to say that.
Right.
I'm sorry, but you know what I'm saying. Long story short, I talked them into liking and following the page, and then I was like, "Hey, you guys want to come up on the show or something?" Because it's like, this is a place where anybody can speak their piece. Anybody. It doesn't matter who don't believe, who do believe. If you feel strongly about what you have to say, this is the place for you. Everybody's welcome. But it was just kind of weird how it's like y'all were trying to kind of door salesman me, but yeah, I got two now. I got 2 followers and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I talked to them also about volunteer work around the town. So they gave me a couple of directions where I could go as well. So we're about to start looking into that.
Hell yeah.
That's pretty sick.
Love to see the growth. Love to see the expansion.
Definitely.
Especially, yeah, I mean, like you're saying, there's a lot of like-minded folk around here trying to do the same thing. And, you know, my opinion has always been, when it comes to this kind of stuff, especially, you know, entertainment and whatnot, we got to work together, you know, to see. Thought you smart. Is that what I said? I don't think that's what I said.
I don't call that.
But God damn it, Dave. Anyways, yeah, a lot of like-minded people. If we all just work together instead of, you know, competing all the time.
Yeah, looking for too much individual success. It's too much individual success, and then it's like a lot of people get a touch of it. They get a touch of it, and then they run with it.
Yeah, it's just like what?
It's like you put a cap.
It's so much more with the team.
You kind of put a cap on your potential and things when you rise before the proper assessments and the proper study and the proper groundwork things. You just the proper security towards your finances and everything. Hopping into a professional off the jump. I think they had the delinquents help me with before I even dropped Ed and Nettie. Everything was already set up. I didn't know about. That's like what I wanted to offer people. Like I didn't know about BMIs, LLCs, copywriting, the whole process of what you should actually do with your song so you make money from the things. I was just drop a song, record it, drop it on YouTube. All right, if it picks up win, then it picks up win type thing. I didn't know that there was ways where you could start getting paid off jump. And they introduced all that type of things to me. So that's also something that I talked about when we have, if you come through or you're just a regular artist. You don't even have to be somebody that has traction. You could just be somebody around town and you have very good lyrics. Oh, I like your song, so come in here, but we also give you help. I'll help you set up a BMI. I know how to set up BMIs and things from watching from people teaching it to me. So I'll help you set up your BMIs. You can do all that before, and then we can set you up with an interview that same day. So you'll have some traction. Now all you got to do is put some music out there. All right. So that's I'm trying to help as much as I can without expecting anything, because I know what we're going to get out of just the hard work and then moving up towards monetizing. And with like we recently just got our first sponsor. Like we're just getting into these things, and we already have, you know what I'm saying? It just came across and I just hopped right into it and stuff. We were going to bring it on here, but they're not paying us yet. So we'll wait till, you know what I'm saying? We'll wait till all that stuff.
I feel that. Yeah, no, like that's to me, man. There's so much content out these days when you're looking at it at a worldwide level, like a world scale, that it's like, you know, we've had people on from all over, from literally, I think from over in France and stuff like that. Shout outs to Kanj. I know France is going crazy right now.
Kanj's still out there making her music.
Now, I've seen a couple of her live streams on Instagram going through, showing the trash and shit that's building up over there. It's insane. But to me, if I knew, you know, like just like you guys are saying, if I knew there was people, because even these, it's hard to see new things pop up that people are starting unless you're somewhat associated within their circle, you know, someone shares it that, you know, or whatnot. So to be able to find more people, it's like, hell, I'd watch everybody streaming the 217 that I could, just because a lot of like what we struggled with in the beginning was we'd start streaming, there would be no viewers, nobody would be commenting, nothing. So the whole hour that we'd be trying to fill was just me and Chase talking between me and him. And it's like when you have a couple people even just sitting there commenting, going along with your conversation, putting their 2 cents in, so you know you can talk on it just helps so much. So it's one of those things, it's like that's such a little thing for you to be able to peep in and do in the week. And it's like, if there is a way to know everybody within this specific area, it's like you could be following, you could be subscribing just because they're 217. And then if all of us shoot up over 1,000 subs on YouTube, now we're all monetized. Now we're all getting paid. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. It's not like you have to physically pay for them. You know what I mean? It's like, nah, everybody will get a little bit of money.
There's so many ways for social media influencers and entrepreneurs to make money just literally from your support. Literally, there's so many different ways that really, that's all it really takes sometimes. There's people who just, like, I've studied into the Instagrams, the Facebooks, all the different ways that they give you access to make money off of your content and things. There's some things that just, so I literally just helped one of my friends set up his whole, I was letting him know, like, your page gets crazy traction. He went viral so many times, tens of thousands. I said, do you realize you could be getting paid from these type of things? And he did. He was like, he started to think about it. He came up to me a couple of days ago. I grabbed his phone. I set up his payment account. I set up so that he could, you know what I'm saying, get, I made his page professional, so he had a professional dashboard. He could keep insights on who was watching, who favored his statuses more, so he know what crowd to feed into and stuff. He really like researches that stuff. He comes up to me and he shows me the insights and things. 160,000, 105,000 type things, and then I set up the payment thing so that he could work from badges, stars and badges. So where people just send him stars or things, or just like a whole bunch of his content, he just gets paid from it. And he doesn't really have to make a lot. You don't have to make a lot. I don't know how much they pay per things, but I know that you don't have to make a lot before you can start to cash out and get the money coming your way. But if you already build traction like he already did, then he should be pretty good. And then he came up to me and he was like, don't worry. He's like, I'm always going to cut you in because you helped me set this whole thing up. That's not what it's about. It was just, I seen the potential of what you could be doing, and I'm not going to let you sell yourself short type thing.
Right. Yeah. I feel that.
I got, and here it is to you.
I said because I make funny. I'll give you statuses, you know, saying that you can make and stuff like that. But it's more of so for experimental thing, because he has a hold of the algorithm, so I can see what type of things resonate well with a crowd through his page and stuff. So it was like a reciprocation thing. I don't need much from you. What the research and study that I get from you and that I can apply towards my things is enough. It's that I can make my own money type thing. So that's definitely how it works. Just keep it going. But I think a lot on ways that one thing can help multiple people. Everybody has the potential to help multiple people. And I feel like that's why everybody kind of synchronized together and kind of put me at the forefront of the leadership position in the group and stuff, because of how I think of everybody in all my decisions.
I was going to ask you, have you ever read The Tao of Wu that RZA wrote?
The Tao of Mu?
The Tao
Tao Wu. Wu-Tang Clan?
Oh, Daewoo?
I've got a copy right over there.
That's what dude said, bro. I watched the wrong movie. No, I didn't.
Oh, anyways, but my point of it was just going to be he's getting a copy of the book. Today's episode is sponsored by RZA.
The Tao.
Okay. Yeah. So in it, he was talking about forming the Wu-Tang Clan and stuff, and how he had a similar outlook that you do, where it's like he saw a bunch of leaders, and he they formed like Voltron. That's exactly what they did, and he told every single one of those guys, he's like, I'm gonna take point on this. He's like, you give me 5 years. It's like 5 years, and I'm going to get us all to the top. And that's exactly what happened. Over the next 5 years, he, worked on the Wu-Tang Clan, and through that made, successful solo artists out of almost every single one of those guys. So it definitely, it's a great book. You should definitely check it out.
Oh yeah,
but it's definitely a great mindset to have, for sure. It works, you know. So,
Yeah.
we do have to start shutting it down here. So, one time for the mind. How about some closing thoughts from everybody?
Closing thoughts.
Closing thought. I'll go ahead and start. Solo, this is like, I mean, we've met a couple times in person and everything, but this is the second time we've had the chance to like really have a conversation. I love the way your brain works, and I'm really looking forward to working with you more. That I was so fucking impressed when you auditioned, man. Like when you, as soon as you got on there talking about some of the shit you were talking about, I'm like, this is the guy.
It was my first time. It was my
who
first time
is
for everything.
intelligent. He's passionate. You know, like I, you know, I love the mind. So, you know, who better to have come get that mind right today. So yeah, it's been great having you on the show.
Most definitely. Thank you so much. Did you have any closing thoughts? And honestly, it's just a really good honor to be here, you know. Like, shout out to you, thank you. Shout out to you guys. It was wonderful meeting you, honestly, and I enjoyed the talk, and your opinions is very genuinely enjoying. It was
awesome, man.
It was definitely
No,
nice.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you
Glad
for
to have
being
you
here
here.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame we only get an hour. It's like one of those things when you're thinking about it and you're like, damn, I got to sit down and talk for an hour. This is going to be tough. But the next thing you know, you're
Yeah,
over your hour mark and you're like, oh, okay. But my one time for the mind's going to be quite again, I think we've talked about some really good stuff. You know, if you've got any sort of idea, I'm all for just acting on it, going for it. I don't look at anything as a failure, because something I know I've probably said on this show and I say a lot is like, man, even the worst mistake you can make just turns into your greatest advice you can give somebody else.
Yeah.
So it's like bounce on to the next. But my one time for the mind tonight is a big fuck you to Spotify from last week. I brought it up as
it's a
my
carryover. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a carryover. Spotify booted me off my family plan. Apparently, Tyler Elbs Pudgy's not my family no more, according to Spotify, and they're like, you can never get on that family plan again. So I let them know how I felt. I was like, I'm about to Neil Young, Johnny Cash music right off Spotify, baby. We're gonna be Apple exclusive now. And then you got Pesci, I see in the comments, said in the show shit how you start the shit. He's got his shit dropping real soon. It's fire. I'm glad to have him in the comments tonight, Pesci.
Absolutely.
Love you, man. Love you, Pesci, man.
And then again, yeah, thank you guys for coming on tonight. It was a very good conversation. I'm hyped to check out the stuff you guys are putting out. Like I said, I've been seeing it on Instagram and whatnot. I really do. I have to say, I love the graphics you guys are making. I really do like that shit.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll be working on the thing myself. We be sitting there the thing, man. Sitting there working. I let them do the work, and yeah, I just give my perspective. I just need some opinions. I'm like, this look good.
Miss you too, Pesci.
Hey, miss you too, Pesh. Yeah, I keep seeing him doing his thing, man, getting booked all over, dude. I'm gonna pop in one of these nights. I'm usually always just kicking it by myself, and I'm like, I ain't gonna show up to no concert by myself. That's just weird to me. I don't know. But one of these nights, I'm gonna do it. You know, I'm gonna say fuck it.
Can roll up there. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Well, we don't have an outro video made up for April yet, but next week I think Weston Hasty's coming on that reschedule from a few weeks ago. So we got him kicking off April. We got our next Monday's on the move. And we got Tyler Jacob Moore from Shameless and all those other shows he's always on coming back for the third time. Third time. So that's coming up in April, along with our new 420 short. Boys, thanks for closing out March with us. We appreciate it.
Definitely, man. Awesome.
Peace, everybody.